Hey guys, welcome back to Wanderlusting Warrior. I know it's been a long time. You might notice though I have new digs. I bought a house. Well, my wife and I bought a house. Super excited about it, but that also means we've been incredibly busy packing, unpacking, sort of unpacking. But the good news about that is that as I've been unpacking, I've been able to pull aside anything that I took with me on my Camino because I know it's incredibly overdue. But I'm going to be doing a video at some point about kind of everything I took and how I packed it in my pack, or at least what I still have. So look forward to that, I hope, coming up. And today I just want to make a video for you about food on the Camino de Santiago. This is probably one of the things people look forward to most, thinking, oh, I'm going to Spain, I'm going to eat amazing food, and that's definitely true. But one of the biggest complaints I heard from pilgrims on the Camino was with respect to food as well. And having lived in Spain a couple times for extended periods of time before I did the Camino, I knew a little bit better what to expect. So hopefully this will help you guys plan for your Camino in terms of what you can expect in the food realm. So we'll start with breakfast. Breakfast is, and I've talked about this kind of in what you can expect day to day on the Camino, but breakfast isn't a huge meal, which can be tough for pilgrims because you probably want energy as you're setting off. What you're going to find, and I think places tend to cater a little bit more to pilgrims if they're on the Camino route. But really what you're going to find, your options are going to be, if you're getting breakfast in your albergue, maybe they have cereal, but more likely than not, you're going to be stopping at a bar and it's going to be some type of toast. I love toast with olive oil and crushed tomatoes. That's my favorite. You'll also have pastries, and you may see tortilla de patatas as well. This is typically not a breakfast food in Spain, but you'll find it in most bars, and a lot of pilgrims like to start their day this way. It's basically the Spanish-style omelet. It's eggs and potatoes, maybe onions, or sometimes ham, mushrooms, different variations, but it's delicious, so I definitely recommend trying it if you eat eggs and potatoes. And then, oftentimes you have what's called a second breakfast, around 10 or so when you're hungry again from walking. And again, that could be a pastry, a piece of tortilla de patata, some toast, the all-important café con leche. And then you have lunch. So I'm going to talk to you about what's called the pilgrim's menu, or the menú de peregrino. So this is basically a special price that's offered at a lot of restaurants along the Camino. It's usually 10 or 12 euros, and sometimes you actually have a couple different options. The price goes up and the number of choices or the quality of choices goes up. And so it's usually a good amount of food. You start with some type of, some places might have like a small appetizer, but usually it's just a first course, a second course, dessert, bread, and a glass of wine or a soda or a coffee or whatever you want to drink. And so the primer plato, the first plate, is usually like pasta or salad, or sometimes there will be soup, options like that. And the second plate is more like chicken fillets, or sometimes you can find meatballs, maybe steak, and then it'll usually come with French fries on the side. So this is one of the biggest complaints I heard about food on the Camino, is the lack of variety and the number of fried options. It is true, at restaurants in Spain, they really do, well, I guess this type of restaurant, they love fried food. So croquetas is one of my favorite Spanish foods. It's basically kind of looks like a mozzarella stick, but it's actually, in the inside is like a bechamel sauce with, usually it's meat based. There might be little pieces of ham inside or bacon. Sometimes you can find vegetarian ones with mushroom or cheese. So that's really a good, affordable way to eat on the Camino. Other places, I didn't like to usually eat that much food for lunch unless I'd already made it to my location for the day and then I was showered and could have a big lunch. Sometimes I like to just get a bocadillo. That's basically how you say sandwich on the Camino, but not with American style white bread. It's usually with like a baguette or a larger piece of bread. And there you might find chicken, ham, cheese, maybe, what else do they have? Like a cooked type of pork, you might be able to find lomo. And then dinner is similar to lunch in terms of the menú del peregrino. You can usually find it for lunch or for dinner. Now, obviously, if you want to pay a little bit more, you can go out to a nicer restaurant. You're going to eat the best at the beginning of your Camino and at the end of your Camino if you're doing the Camino Francés. So the food in Saint-Jean-Pied-de-Port, the food in France is amazing, but really through that entire first stretch through Pamplona and through especially Logroño, they're called, instead of tapas there, they're called pinchos. And I recommend you try as many as you can. And this is where speaking Spanish can actually come in really handy, because some places will have menus in English as well, or you can just point to what you want. But other places that are a little bit off the beaten path, they get really busy and you basically have to be shouting your order at the waiter. This is not rude there. This is how everyone does it. So if you do speak Spanish, it'll kind of give you some authority in what you're saying. The waiter will understand you. You'll understand them when they bark back at you. Okay, what? So there are definitely restaurant options. And then the other option that goes with that too, that a lot of people take, is cooking their own food. It really depends on where you are. You'll need a little bit of a bigger city or town that'll have a grocery store and obviously an albergue with a kitchen, or you can make your own simple sandwiches like tuna fish, tomatoes, bread, whatever. But I didn't finish my point before. So the food I said is the best at the beginning and the end of your Camino. So also when you get to Galicia, the last region where Santiago de Compostela is, if you love seafood, pulpo, the octopus there, is incredible. They have really good potato dishes, really good soups, really good desserts. So I always looked at it as kind of like a reward when you're nearing the end. But yeah, I would be prepared for, I guess, some lack of variety, at least in North American eyes. A lot of fried options. You'll probably see more French fries than you've ever seen in your life. Maybe you'll get sick of them. I didn't, but in terms of from a dietary perspective, salad may be just about the only vegetable you're going to see. I never saw like a side of broccoli being an option. I love broccoli, weirdly love broccoli. So vegetables like that are going to be tougher to come across unless you go to a grocery store or unless you go to maybe a little bit of a fancier restaurant that offers those. But, I think as with everything, these are things that you're going to look back on afterward and say, oh man, I missed that simple menú del peregrino with, just knowing I was going to get a bunch of food for a great price. It's pretty tough to find that these days. So if you have any specific questions or comments, anything I forgot, let me know. And thanks for watching. As always, buen camino.